All right. So next, AI database. Oh, G's going to do it. So G, come on up. Let's tell them how to create the database.
Hi, my name is G. I'm an associate at Agostino Associates. Prior to becoming an attorney, I was a software engineer. So I worked in the same facilities with AI projects. So I have a bit of a insight into how it works. So just before I start, just a introduction to AI because it's all this mystical creature that we all recently using. What AI is, the consumer AI, as we have ChatGPT, POE.com is it's a it's a digital neural network that kind of tries to mimic your brain, but what it does is actually it's a very complicated mathematical function. So though it looks very complicated, it's very simple. You give it an input, it gives you an output. But the way it works, how it processes that end product is complicated. Even the creators of ChatGPT or Paul.com couldn't actually look at a artificial intelligence model and tell you what works and how. So these are very complicated models, but it's basically an input and an output. Now, Poe.com is the one that I utilize most, and we utilize at Agostino. There's also ChatGPT. The difference between them is Poe.com, even the free version allows you to upload documents. ChatGPT allows you only if you subscribe to it, then you can only upload documents. That's ChatGPT 4. 3.5 is the free version, but we do need uploading documents, and I have a subscription. Actually, I have a subscription to both. So if you're going to use AI, it is $20 per month for each. But it's the for me, it's the best $20 I spend because it helps a lot. So you go into Poe.com, and then there are a couple ways to register. You could follow it with your Google account, Apple account, or you could just give it your email, and you'll go through that process. You'll receive a verification code in your email, and then you will access Poe.com. Poe.com is basically it's on your left. You'll have your chats as you create them. The main screen that you see right now, where it says start of new chat, is where you actually give your first input. You could also click the plus button there, upload documents. Up top where you say assistant, there's Claude 3, Claude 3 Sonnet. So those are all types of AI engines that you could select. People.com, the best one to use right now is Cloud 2 because you can only ask it so many questions per month. You still have a lot, but Claude 3 is only about 100 messages per one this time. So it's a more complicated and better model, but Claude 2 is better to use. So this is your screen. So it's hard to first understand because regularly we use computers, we click and we write and we do a lot of complicated things. But with AI, you just give it an input just like you would talk to a person. So you just enter your prompts over where it says start a new chat. Um, so when you hit more, you're going to have, as you see here, a lot more uh, AI engines. So some of them are free, where it says subscriber access that you can only use if you actually subscribe to Poe.com. Um, so you pass through this. So every AI model, Claude, ChatGPT, it does come with a kind of a knowledge. The way they train these engines is it travels, it browses the web, it goes into IRS site, it goes into IRS manual site, even without you telling it. That's how they trained it for years. That's how they produced and got these products to consumers. And you get a pre-built system. As you introduce it more documents, such as the PDF of the Internal Revenue Code, federal tax procedures, volumes, it starts to learn what you want to ask it. So basically, it is like you take it to the part of the library that you think that the answers will be there. So internal revenue code, right? So by giving it the internal revenue code, you're actually taking it to the shelf in the library where there's internal revenue code volumes. And then around it, there's also other text-related materials. So what AI does is we cannot 100% prove this, but what it does is it actually, even without you using it, in time, it does go into other areas, other resources over the web, and then starts learning uh, what's about the subjects that you want to ask it. So we create chat channels. There's the Internal Revenue Code channel. We have the Federal Tax Procedure book that we use. We have the Treasury regulations. There's about, I believe, 20 downloads, and it's a long process to set it up, but it's worth it. You have the whole Treasury regulation volumes that you could ask questions. The tax court rules, federal rules of civil procedure, and criminal procedure. I use them in the same chat channel, so they are kind of related sometimes. It is easier to set up. So what we do is, this is, for example, the Treasury regulations. When you go to the Treasury regulations download site, you will see volumes of downloads. So if you download the PDFs, I believe there are 17 volumes, and you feed it to AI one by one in a chat channel, it kind of, in a way, starts becoming the treasury regulation expert. It starts learning about treasury regulations. Um, so, for example, subchapter A, income tax has 16 volume files, and the other subchapters have more. So it's not practical to load all the files, but you can always download the ones that about topics, about subchapters or chapters you're interested in, and then go with those. So to upload the document, you hit that plus button where it says, and then you select the document that you want to upload from your local computer that you just downloaded. And you could also select and upload multiple documents. Um, so after uploading all the documents, you should have 5 chats. There's the Internal Revenue Code regulations. Internal Revenue Manual, you give it the Internal Revenue Manual address, website address, because there is not a download available on the internet. It's huge. So, but when you give it the AI, it actually knows how to browse around the Internal Revenue Manual, because you just pointed it to the point. You said this is the website for Internal Revenue Manual, and it will actually go and look at subchapters as you ask questions. It will browse the internet just like a human do. There is also the Federal Procedure Town Handbook chat that's very useful, and the rules of court.
Just, I want to say, I don't know if the Townsend book is the book that I've I assigned for teaching the tax court exam. It is a tax controversy horn book that's free on the internet. Just because it's free on the internet, don't underestimate how good it is. So it's very long, but it is essentially the same horn book that's used at University of, I guess, Houston Law School. And Townsend was, formerly with the DOJ. And after the Saltzman book, it's probably the most consulted treatise on uh, tax controversy, civil and criminal tax. It's extremely comprehensive. I know it takes a long time to put this in and learn it, and always to make sure that you're going and getting all the updates, but it is absolutely worthwhile to have it there. It's like having me in the machine answering questions for you. So use the Townsend book. Thanks.
So after, to start a chat, like I previously said, you select an engine. Here we're selecting Claude 3. And then when we're uploading it, this is the Title 26 Internal Revenue Code. You should enter prompt. It doesn't have to be the same exact prompt, but when you say learn this document, I will rely on you, I will ask you questions. Artificial intelligence knows that it should actually learn about this document, maybe other subjects around it. So you actually give it, it's to me, I personally think of it as it like a tree. You put the seed in, and it starts to grow by itself. So once you said that, it'll come back you with a prompt about, usually about the summary of the documents, what it says exactly. is not very much relevant. It tries to give you a summary. What's important is you just pointed to AI that you're going to ask questions about this document. Now, AI can do a couple things. One of the first one is you can ask it questions. So if you feed the revenue code, you can ask it about, for example, a specific section here. You say summarize section 171, and it'll actually give you a summary of the section. You don't exactly have to say summarize. You could say explain, or you could just use it your own words as you would talk to a person, and you would understand. Uh, One thing I want to say about uh, answering questions specifically about sections, subsections, it is mostly accurate, but sometimes it does make mistakes and it might point you to a wrong subsection or maybe like one before or after. So it's best practice if you're going to use it in your professional life to actually check the subsection, manually go to it, make sure it's the right subsection. But this way, you just get a very fast summary of a question that you have. So you could also ask it a specific question. For example, uh, here we're again in one section 170, but I want to ask a specific subject about the restrictions on the types of organizations. And it does give you a summary. It tries to usually enumerate it. It reads over the code and it gives you an answer. And it does this in pretty much a few seconds. And the more you use it, the faster it starts giving its answers. This is an interesting one. I was very surprised when I figured this out. So I asked it about we subpart F. It gives you a description of the subpart F. That's good. It provides you a summary from the resources. But you could also ask it to give you a concrete example, and this is when it starts generating. This is generative AI. It actually gives you a concrete example about a company with subpart F, income inclusion, and as you see here, it just generates numbers. This is a lot easier for humans to understand with examples. So this is only one of the skills that it has. So here we're seeing ChatGPT. The previous examples were Poe.com. ChatGPT is also free. This is the free version, 3.5. So you could just ask it general questions like how are New Jersey taxes appealed, how are federal tax statute of limitations and federal tax laws. It mostly gives you the correct answer. It's usually not the perfect 100% answer. You do get an idea, and after this, you could actually ask it like, which sections did you rely on while giving me this answer? It will give you the section answer. To make sure it's correct, you could go back to the section manually. So there's a certain process, so you're actually working with like a human that interacting with it, and you're trying to reach to the correct answer. This is artificial intelligence can also read legal documents and interpret them and give you in a format like IRAC format. So here we're giving it a, a, a decision, and this is writing us a memo following the IRAC structure. Uh, it will give you the subject, everything. It won't generate you like a Word document, like a formatted Word document, but it will actually give you a text output that's formatted. So here you see a brief memo, um, and it has the issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. And the thing about AI is it actually does what you ask it to do. If you ask for other format, if it is able to, it will actually try its best to create it in that format. So you could actually format the output. Here we're asking it for a different format, same document, we're asking it for a different format. And it's on the section one is putting material facts. So this is how you can see it can actually change formats, give outputs in different formats. Now, generative AI, I think that's the most hot debated topic lately is that AI can actually produce legal text for you. So producing legal text, the way I personally use it is it gives you like good paragraphs. You tell it about a certain subject. You give it documents before maybe you gave a decision and you wanted to write a paragraph about the decision. So here you are. First, you see that you tell them what it is. You say you are a lawyer writing to U.S. tax court in context of a federal tax court case, and then you ask it for introductory paragraph that states that something about the petitioner you want to write, and it does give you a good formatted text about the subject related to what you asked about it. You could, it's best not to use it just as you get it. You also put it through other filters. We use WordRake. You put it through WordRake your documents, but it does generate text for you. As you see here, the other one is you tell it you're a lawyer writing to enter tax code, so it knows the role that it's supposed to fulfill, and then you ask a paragraph from it. Now you say sometimes what it does is it adds facts. This is not all the time, but here it added facts that I did not give it. I say I did not give you those facts, remove those days, and it does remove those days. So you always have to check the output that AI gives, and if it's wrong, you actually tell it to correct it. And the more you do this, the more you learn. So you do this couple times, the third time, fourth time, most probably it's not going to do this mistake. So it is a learning system. It actually adapts to your use, to your needs. It can also, so this is the best part. You can give it a document, you can make it read a document, it will summarize the document, and then within that document, you might actually want it to write a text. Here, this is a Supreme Court case. I believe this was the latest one in the docket. So we gave it a decision, Supreme Court decision. It read the decision, it understood it. Then we asked for a task. So Second Circuit's decision was the one that was appealed. So somewhere in the decision, it talks about the Second Circuit decision. So AI knew how to extract it, put it into right format, right text, and give it back to us. So the importance of prompts. AI is not a perfect system that just works by itself. It actually works according to your input. So without clear prompts, an AI system doesn't know what specific information you're looking for. You have to tell it what you're looking for. It narrows the scope and steer the AI in the right direction. So this is a mix. This is really crucial while using AI. Also, it can specify the desired tone and style. You can write prompts to get responses in a tone, in a style, and it will actually give you that output. Also, the more you narrow the scope, the more you tell AI what you're expecting, what are the limits, the less the chances of incorrect and dangerous output. The and prompts prime the AI with relevant background. You can tell it facts, you can tell it concepts, you can tell it the context. Like we said, you're a lawyer in New Jersey tax court. Of course, it's not a lawyer, but if you word it like that, it'll understand its role. So this way, like I said, you actually put the seeds in for the AI to grow in the direction that you like it to grow. And also, prompts make the AI reasoning transparent because an AI system can explain its logic without some prompting. And if you have well-structured prompts that actually eliminate the AI's thought process, and you can show it if and how it arrives to a conclusion. Yes. Yes.
Does the AI remember you, or can it be pulling from other people's inquiries?
I am not 100% about that because for example, Cloud 2K model in Poll.com, it is not exactly isolated to your use. It actually, the model grows.
So, like the subset within the AI model, you are, to an extent you are, and then to a certain extent you're not.
Right. So the exact algorithm of that is not public. But so the way it works is you take the AI engine and then you give it something and you teach it. But the probability is that once, for example, a new law comes in and it's on the web, it is we're pretty sure that it actually goes onto the web at some point and pulls that. So it also learns by itself. So you're not isolated within your chat channels. But if you were two users using it in a specific way, it, the way it seems is it doesn't exactly like instantly pick other users' channels. So that doesn't happen. But you are within an ecosystem with the rest of the world.
Can you filter or ask it to include that?
I haven't tried that, but my feeling is it's going to be hard.
It depends on the programs. One of the things we learn, each of the programs have personalities and limitations. So of these programs, one of them that we've recommended that for you studying is Docanalysis. Right? Docanalysis, you create a folder for that client and that case. It will only take facts from that folder and that case. So when you're prepping for trial, like I just had a trial. So Docanalysis is closed, so I don't have to worry about it being on the internet and the privacy things. Like one of the classes we will deal with is the ethics of it. And one of the ethical things is you have to make sure that we're always preserving client confidentiality. So when you're bringing in documents, you just like when you're going to the tax court, you're whiting out all of your sensitive data. That's called redacting. But Docanalysis, we put in the whole trial stipulation of fact and all of the documents that have been filed on the docket. And when you do your query, it would limit itself to the documents in that file. So the facts that it generates are only the facts that it will glean from documents that you've stipulated and have gone into evidence. Now, like a first year associate, it will sometimes aggressively say that a document says something, they may take the same liberties as human beings do. So you still need to double check it because all of these AIs, they want to win. When we program it, right? I can look, I'm a tax lawyer, I'm representing X in this case. I want the court to find no deficiency. Right. So review these documents in the light most favorable to the taxpayer. And it's going to review the documents in the light most favorable to the taxpayer. And it's going to tell you where, because you will program it in your prompt to say, tell me where you took this fact from. But like human beings, it will sometimes take liberties. So you need to double check it. And what we do very frequently is have uh, the programs check each other. I mean, G has put together my desk. I have six monitors. I will frequently have two different AIs answering the same question. And then when they get different answers, I will ask each of them, tell me why the other one's wrong or right. So again, you use them like assistants, right? They don't do the work for you. You tell it the work you want it to do. I'm sorry.
So well, we talked about drafting, for example, how to tell the AI exactly what to do. Here in this example, you can tell it it's an attorney, CPA. Here the document type, format, list of documents, and you give it a detailed prompt. Then, like we just talked, it's much more likely to produce a correct output, more accurate output. Um, so so here's the goal: is to ensure your legal document is error-free, unambiguous, and enforceable. So you could scrutinize should scrutinize the document. You should check it for clarity and conciseness. You should check its formatting consistency. You should double check the parties involved. you should check the dates and deadlines because the way it is called, the term is AI sometimes hallucinates. So AI sometimes hallucinates and it might put in there facts, cases, some format that you did not want it to. So just like Frank said, it may take the liberty sometimes to do things. So you should always check for this. So you should never accept the input that AI gave you as the final draft. So it should always be scrutinized, checked for errors. Um, you can ask it for blue booking prompt. So your task is to take the text provided and rewrite it into a clear, grammatically correct version while preserving the original meaning as closely as possible. So you can tell it to review the attached documents, and you should yourself ensure all legal citations adhere to the formatting. This is very important in briefs, in legal documents. You should always make sure that legal citations are checked. You should always check proper citation format for cases, statutes, regulations, etc. Um, the accurate spacing, punctuation, basically the formatting should be checked. And also, this is also important consistency. It might not exactly give you a very 100% consistent output, so you should check for consistency. Please.
Well, operational questions.
Right.
So if you're downloading the software onto your computer,
Hang on 1 second, Chief. The people at home, there's over 300 people at home, they can't hear the room.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question before you answer?
So Don just asked if we download the software, how we use it.
it is software that's downloaded on your computer.
It is not downloaded. It's in your web browser. So this is a browser based. These are all browser based systems.
All of the documents from the
Right.
items that you want to upload, you're going to upload it to the web browser. But
Right.
they there first, or you have to upload it every time you want to access it.
No, you have to upload it once. So you download it from the resource source.
Please, it has some space for data on the web for your stuff that you upload.
It does. So let me speak for the
Which the whole thing together.
Hmm.
Then when we want to ask a question that's going to refer to the documents that we uploaded, can we upload a notice of deficiency and ask questions based on that? And then if we do, does that now become an issue where our client's information, I think I heard Frank said, if we do, then it has to be redone. I
Right.
think that comes on.
Yes, the last part, I'll speak separately, and we have a slide for that. But your first question was whether we download the software. No, this is a web-based software. You use it on your web browser, Chrome, Firefox, whatever you're using. So the way it works is you download the documents, sources from the original IRS website or Treasury regulations, and then you upload it. Once you upload it, you have actually, well, you can upload it a 1 gigabit or 2 gigabits file. That's very large, but our experience is if it's like 25 megabytes, usually like title 26 is about, I believe, 18 megabytes and it can handle it. So you don't have an exact limit, but it has a limit on how much it can learn. So treasury regulations, you have to upload it bit by bit, but you don't have to upload them again. Once you upload them, it actually learns about it. It doesn't exactly 100% memorizes the documents that you sent it. Some other tools that Frank just talked about, they just work on those documents, like on four corners of those documents. They memorize the documents, but Poll.com, ChatGPT, the general AI tools, does not do that. The third part of your question was if you could upload a notice of deficiency. I never do that. We never do that because that's client private data. So there's concerns about privacy, data leakage in a public AI. If it's a private AI tool, like the documents that Frank talked about, that's a different scenario and you can safely upload it there. But on Poll.com or ChatGPT, You should not be uploading anything that's
Which means that whatever we upload in teaching our AI based on our login. First of all, that's my login, and I can have 5 people might just log into the same one. It'll retain the same information that I've fed.
correct.
So it obviously allows a certain amount of space for the upload, correct?
It does, but it's not a document system. It is. It doesn't actually, like, if you uploaded your document and somebody asked the document that G uploaded, it won't know it. Even when you upload it and you ask about the document later on, it doesn't exactly memorize it. It knows what the document is about. But I'm talking about Poll.com and ChatGPT, not a private tool like Docalysis, which is built to actually work on documents specifically and memorize that document. Those are different tools. But these are not these ChatGPT, Poll.com, these are the most used consumer AI systems, general AI systems. They do not actually memorize your documents. So the chances that you uploaded a document and came back a week, 2 weeks later, and you ask for the document that you uploaded, it will not exactly know, but it will know the content that's uploaded there.
Thank you.
I don't know how we went back there. Okay, so AI that we found useful, we talked about Docalysis and AFI. Those are document-based private tools. And Cloud 2 or 3 is on Poll.com, Anthropic.com. There's DraftSmith, which is a useful tool. There's Low Chat GPT. I believe this is a more expensive tool, but it's specifically used for legal contexts. It gives different outputs, maybe more convenient.
That's excellent.
Case law research, yes. But I believe it's a lot more expensive than consumer tools, but it is very helpful.
1 hour of my time. That's what your hourly rate is.
So AI warnings, actually, we talked about this. So the privacy issues, private client information, everything, you always have to be aware of it. So I guess the rule of thumb is never upload private data to a public AI, Poll.com or ChatGPT. That's the rule of thumb. So always err on the side of caution. And that pretty much sums up a portion of our presentation.